Chapter 32, The Happy Tails Animal Shelter in Elmira, New York. By 8:45 the next morning, I am sitting on our porch, just in case Uncle Weldon arrives early. He arrives at 8:55, and I jump from the couch, call goodbye to my father, and run across our yard to the truck. Uncle Weldon and I are in a good mood on the drive to Elmira. We talk about homonyms and prime numbers, and I tell him about Pravani's mother. Pravani cries a lot at school, I add. I think she's very sad. I cheer her up with homonyms. The closer we get to Elmira, the more I talk. Uncle Weldon, there's a sign for Happy Tails Animal Shelter. Tails has a homonym, tails. That's a good sign, isn't it? Isn't it a good sign? I think it is. I'm sure Rain is the 23-pound blonde with 7 white toes that someone brought in. Both 23 and 7 are prime numbers. My uncle interrupts. Don't get too excited, just in case. Just in case what? Just in case the blonde dog with the white toes isn't Rain after all, okay? Okay, I say, but I'm bouncing up and down in my seat feeling happy. Uncle Weldon puts on his directional and we turn left and rumble across a dirt road. I see a sign that says Happy Tails just ahead. Soon the road ends in a parking lot by a long, low building. Now I see a bigger sign that says Happy Tails. Under the words are a painting of a dog and a cat curled up together, their tails intertwined. Where do we park? Where do we park? I cry. Rose, calm down, says my uncle. Here's a parking space, and over there I see a sign that says office. Let's go. I run ahead of my uncle through the parking lot and along the walk to the office sign. I pull open the door. Inside, I see a waiting room with a desk and a lot of hard plastic chairs. Some of the chairs are occupied. Most of them are empty. I don't pay any attention to the people in the chairs. I'm only interested in the man behind the desk. Rose, slow down, my uncle calls after me, but he is laughing. I step up to the desk, stand on tiptoes, and say to the man, My name is Rose Howard. I called yesterday about my dog. I explain about Rain again, and the man begins to smile. Yes, he says, we were hoping you would come in. Just a moment, let me get the shelter manager. He speaks into the phone on the desk, and a few minutes later, a door at the back of the room opens, and a woman walks through it. She's holding a leash and says, come on, girl. I watch the leash as it follows the woman through the door. Watch and watch until finally I can see what's at the other end. Rain, I cry. I run to her. Rain seems confused at first. Her eyes dart around the room as she looks at the strange people, but then they settle on Uncle Weldon and me. She begins to leap and jump and yip and bark. I slide onto my knees and throw my arms around Rain. She wiggles so hard that her entire body vibrates. Then she puts her front paws on my shoulders and licks my face. Rain, I say again. I look behind me at Uncle Weldon. It's really her, I whisper. I see that my uncle is crying. Then I see that the woman with the leash is crying, and so is the man behind the desk, and so are 2 of the people sitting in the hard plastic chairs. Tears run down my own face, but Rain licks them away, so I don't have to worry about them. When Rain and I are finally settled down and everyone has stopped crying, the shelter manager holds out her hand to Uncle Weldon. My name is Julie Caparel. Uncle Weldon and Julie Caparel talk for a while. I don't pay much attention to what they're saying. I sit on the floor where Rain has climbed into my lap, and I stroke her ears and paws and examine her closely. She looks thin, and she has some cuts on her face and some marks on her belly that might be insect bites. But she is still my Rain. After a long time, I hear Miss Caparel say to my uncle, It's clear that this lucky pup has found her owners, but I have to follow procedures before we release her to you. Could you please show me some identification? I need to make sure that the information on your IDs match the information on the microchip. I'm a little confused because the chip says the dog's name is Olivia, not Rain. I twist my head around to look at Uncle Weldon. "I'll be happy to show you my driver's license," he says, "but I should tell you that I'm Rose's uncle, not her father, and—" I have to interrupt this conversation. "What's a microchip?" I ask.